When, when
That's
the,
nice.
when the Fox Theater first opened, they had, some of the names they had were big. I was surprised. I'm thinking Riverside
Sorry, guys, I didn't realize I hadn't let you in yet.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. I was so skinny in the good old days. Yeah, this is a weird chair. The arms are really low. You can do it,
People mess me
lower
up.
the whole seat. No, I'm talking about like, okay, that's the button on the side. See what these
On the
are?
chin, no, on the arm itself.
I push up or down, whatever you want to go. There we go, that's better.
I just have to raise this
Hi,
one.
Lynn.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi,
How you doing,
Colby.
Chris?
Hi,
Hey, John boy.
Night, Sue Ellen.
Heard that one for a while, huh?
They actually were playing that show on TV Land just a short while ago, like a few hours ago.
I never watched it when it was originally on, so
I did.
not my kind of show.
My family watched the Waltons. Are we still waiting for anybody here? Edgar should be signing it. Okay. He's out of state. He'll be joining us. Oh, lucky him. Wonder where he is. Texas. Oh,
You know, it's cold there.
yeah.
Our Texas plan.
Hey, Jerry, this is Colby Parks
something for
District.
Sidewalks, just so people don't slip and hurt
Oh, wow.
themselves.
I'm not really sure what, part of this.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah, I just sent you a private message, Jerry. I don't know if you can see the agenda.
Yeah, I did. No, I just wanted to join anyway, just
Okay.
to see
I
a
don't
little.
want you to, perfect. No, we appreciate it. Don't want you to waste your time, but we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're just waiting for Edgar, who will be joining us remotely as well. He just sent me a text. Let me admit him. And these new security features, I don't like them. I think we're ready now, Madam Chairman.
All right, and the time is, Madam Secretary?
6:30.
6:32.
We will begin our meeting at 6:32. Welcome all those that are streaming with us tonight. This is the Parks and Recreation regularly scheduled meeting, which is February the 24th, 2022. I did want to make an announcement, thanking everybody for their well wishes regarding I believe to be pretty soon, within 4 weeks, I'm told that we will be updating my vision, and I thank you again all. I will continue to preside as your president and do as well as I can, and with the help of everyone here, I thank them in advance. I have asked Ms. Johnson to take over at this time on my behalf. Thank you very much, Ms. Johnson, if you could do so. I believe the Pledge of Allegiance is yours as well.
Oh, is mine? Okay. If everyone would please rise. Ready, begin.
I
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So if we just do the roll call, please. Yeah. Jose Luis Godinez. Rebecca Rodorce Burns. Here. Kim Carol Johnson. Here. Ross Laja.
Here.
Okay, and Edgar Castellan.
Present.
Thank you.
And Madam Secretary, if we, Madam President, I guess we just note Mr. Castellan is joining us remotely.
Do we have any presentations or recognitions that we need?
None tonight.
Do we have any public comments on items not on the agenda? I have not received any. Okay, so move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have any comments or questions on the consent calendar or anything you need to pull?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Fine. Okay, now we go on to board action item 5.1. Conduct the public hearing and election related to Community Facilities District number 2016-1, annexation number 28.
Yes, as just stated, this is the annexation number 28 to CFD 2016-1. Tonight will be the public hearing regarding the annexation procedures. Just to remind the board, this is two separate properties. One just up the road here on the corner of Galena and Mission, and the other one is west of Van Buren by Pedley Elementary School. Two separate single-family units going in. I forget the exact numbers, 25 units at one and 28 at the other. Same property owner, so we're doing the annexations at the same point. So with that, myself, Ms. Gruber, or Mr. Owen would be available should you have any questions.
Are there any questions?
No.
No? Okay. These are the public hearings in this board's proceedings for annexation number 28 to Community Facilities District number 2016-1. The hearings are to inquire into the annexation of territory into the district and the levy of special taxes in the territory to be added to fund the cost of certain public services in the district. The public hearings are now officially open. Protests may be oral or written. Any property owner and any registered voter within the proposed territory to be annexed in the district may file a written protest. Does anyone wish to file written protests? If so, they must be filed with the board clerk at this time. Board clerk, have we received any written protests?
No, ma'am, we have not.
Okay. Since there are no written protests filed, we now will receive oral comments and questions and any oral, protests from any interested persons. When all comments have been received in the hearing will be closed. Is anyone here to present an oral comment or protest in this matter? No. Seeing no one, the public hearings are now closed. We may now consider and adopt the resolution of annexation and resolution calling election in that order. Would someone like to do the first motion?
Sure. Madam Chairman, I move approval of resolution number 2022-06 entitled Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Europa Area Recreation and Park District ordering the annexation of territory into its Community Facilities District number 2016-1, subject to voter approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Go ahead.
I think it was Okay,
This will be a roll call.
okay, if we could please have the roll call on that item then?
Yes. Jose Luis Godinez,
Yes.
Rebecca Bedorte Byrne,
Yes.
Kim Gerald Johnson,
Aye.
Ross Leisure,
Yes.
Edgar Castellan.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Can someone do motion number 2, please?
I move approval of resolution number 2022-07 entitled Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Europa Area Recreation and Park District calling special election.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, if we can have the roll call?
Yes. Jose Luis Godinez,
Yes.
Rebecca Bedorte Byrne,
Yes.
Kim Gerald Johnson,
Aye.
Ross Leisure,
Yes.
Edgar Castellan.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0.
The resolution calling special election calls for the property owner vote to approve the special tax and appropriation limit for the territory to be annexed into the district. Because the property owners have waived the waiting periods and other requirements related to elections as provided by law, the special election will be held at this evening's meeting. At this time, I ask the board clerk to open the ballots and announce the results of the special landowner election.
Okay, yes, let me open the ballots, please. Yes, I am in receipt of a ballot representing 12.57 acres totaling 14 votes, and that is a yes on that count. So, yeah.
Okay. The result of the election being in favor of the levy of special taxes and the establishment of the appropriation limits, we may now proceed with the final actions for the district. I do have to admit, I have a question. Normally, if it's 12.57 acres, it would be totaling 13 votes. But this says it totals 14 votes.
That would be a question for Bob.
Bob, did you hear the question?
Yeah, that's a good question. She's right. It should be 13 votes. I'm not sure if that was a mistake that we made or not. In any event, I think it's clear that there's only one ballot and that the ballot is a yes. So whether it takes 13 or 14, I think it's 13 and it should be 13.
Still unanimous, correct?
Same result, correct.
Isn't it 2 ballots because it's 2 separate?
Two ballots for the 2 separate properties totaling a total of 13 acres, 12.57 acres.
Okay. Just curious. Okay.
Oh, it could be because there's 2 different ballots and they each are fractions that might add up to like 7 and 7 or 6 and 8.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's what it is probably, because there are 2 ballots. The mistake in that is that it's not 1 ballot, it's really 2. Is that correct, Loretta, as the clerk?
Yes, I do have 2 ballots in hand.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Glad we cleared that.
Alright.
Thank you.
Mhm. I'll go ahead and do motion number 3. I move approval of resolution number 2022-08 entitled Resolution of the Board of Directors of the Europa Area Recreation and Park District declaring results of special election and directing recording of notice of special tax lien.
I will second that motion.
Okay, roll call.
Yes, Jose Luis Godinez,
Yes.
Rebecca Redrawing Byrne,
Yes.
Kim Gerald Johnson,
Aye.
Ross Leisure,
Yes.
Edgar Castellan.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0.
Okay.
And finally, I move approval of first reading and pass to second reading, the ordinance entitled an ordinance number 01-2022 of the Board of Directors of the Europa Area Recreation and Park District levying special taxes within the Europa Area Recreation and Park District Community Facilities District number 2016-1, annexation number 28 area. We can have the roll call, please.
I need a second.
Oh, that's right.
I'll second that.
Okay. Jose.
Sorry about that.
Okay, roll call. Jose Luis Godinez,
Yes.
Rebecca Redrawing Byrne,
Yes.
Kim Gerald Johnson,
Aye.
Ross Leisure,
Yes.
Edgar Castellan.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-0.
The Board of Directors accepts the results of the special tax ballot and stops all proceedings to levy, what?
No, that's what happens if the
That's
vote
it.
is
The
no.
votes against.
Next
So,
step.
yeah, we're now done with this item.
Okay, so we're all done? Okay,
We're all
very
done.
good.
And I will sign off. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. You're at conference.
Bye.
Thank
Night,
you.
Lynn. She's gonna miss all the fun.
Maybe that's why she signed off.
Okay. Well, now that we've done that, the next item is item 5.2 of the redrawing of district election boundaries.
Yes, again, we have another public hearing tonight. As the board is aware, we are in the process of going through the redrawing of our board districts. And this is our second public hearing in regards to the proposed new boundaries. We have a couple new options here to consider. And as always, we have Christopher, and I'm gonna butcher your last name again,
Rashidian.
from Cooperative Strategies on the line to walk us through the process. So at this point, I'm gonna turn it over to him. Do you want me to share screens with you now, Chris?
Yes, please.
Give me a second here. I always forget. I gotta go back to full screen on this.
Does yours have numbers on the bottom? In the bar. I guess it has dots.
Oh, weird. No, I've got numbers.
You should
I
have.
would press escape. Press escape on your keyboard.
Stop share. There we go.
Yeah.
Now you should be able to.
Well, the whole chart is just not there.
So I don't know.
There we go.
Go. Before I begin, could everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Hi, well, I'm here again to talk to you about the JARPD redistricting. And again, you guys, everyone has probably heard my whole spiel. This is probably the third time. But if y'all need a refresher, we did the census back in 2020. And as with much of the Inland Empire, the Europa Valley area, including the JARPD, had a population growth of about 12%. And due to this, we have had a variance of 57.8% of the entire district when it comes to the populations within each division area, with the highest being division area 3 and the lowest being division area 2. Or sorry, yes, yeah, in the terms of the percent change. So, oh, sorry, my train of thought. Anyways, so we had the population change and actually, I was right. Yeah. So the highest variance was with division area number 3, and the lowest division area was division area number 2. And the ideal population that we need in order to achieve a balance is 23,435 people within each division area. As we all know, we really can't achieve that much of a balance. So we have created initially 3 scenarios, but now 2 additional scenarios incorporating feedback from the board as well with the member of the public. So if you remember, as I spoke last time and the time before, we had a Hispanic majority district, and overall, the total voting age compared to the total population of the district seems to fall in line proportionately. And going back into this heat map, again, this just shows the proportion of the California voting age population, which is a 5-year historical survey. And as we detailed here, it is the population as a percentage of the Hispanic people and Latino people within each census block. So for example, you could have this census block over here. It could comprise of an apartment building, or it could comprise of the whole land. And to explain the heat map, if you have 1 out of 2 people living in this area being Hispanic, that means you would have a 50% concentration of Latino Hispanic within this census block. So as we stand now, we happen to have the 5 trustee areas within the JARPD, again, with the 2 major variances within division area number 3 and division area number 2. And as I mentioned earlier, the 2 things that we have to and must comply by is each area should have almost an equal number of inhabitants, and also the map should be drawn to comply with the Federal Voting Rights Act. And additional considerations that we have taken into account are the compact and contiguous territories as much as possible, try to respect communities of interest as much as possible. So that could be, there could be a Mennonite community living off of Van Buren and Pedley that we should take into account. Of course, we don't have one of those populations, but that's just an example. Also try to follow man-made and natural geographic features as much as possible. So for example, the Santa Ana River, the 15 freeway, the 60 freeway, we try to incorporate those as boundaries. And we also will respect incumbency as much as possible, and taking in considerations from members of the board as well with the general public. So as mentioned earlier, we have drafted now 5 scenarios. The first of which is scenario 1. We reduce the variance of below 10%, and we do the reassignment of the census block, and we also respect incumbency. And the overall variance decreased quite a lot. And if you take a look over at this map, this details where we are with scenario number 1. And again, the blue outlines within this map are the old boundaries juxtaposed with the proposed new boundaries for scenario 1. As you see over here, you have division area 5 around the Rubidoux area. You have Division Area 1 around the Glen Avon, Division 2 around the Mira Loma, Division 3 around the East Vale, and Division 4 around the Sunny Slope Harupa Hills area. And as mentioned earlier, all 5 division areas have a massive, actually all majority of Hispanic Latino within all 5 division areas. And again, the ideal population is 23,435. And from this, we are within a 4.3% variance. Scenario 2 is also within this below the 10%, actually now below 5%. And we also kept the division areas as compact and as contiguous as possible while respecting incumbency. However, the map has been drawn slightly different. Over here, we have detailed the Harupa Hill Sunny Slope area, again, as its own division area, the Rubidoux area, as well with the Glen Avon area being mostly within their own general vicinities. However, the difference between scenario 1 and scenario 2 is that the southwestern region of the district is within division area number 3, and division area number 2 goes diagonal, stretching from the northwestern down to the southern region of the district. As mentioned earlier, we achieve Latino Hispanic majority across all 5 division areas, and we are still within compliance of the 3.2%. Scenario 2A is a new scenario that we have drafted, incorporating feedback from the board as well as the public. This scenario brings us down to below 10% at 8.8%, with the highest tolerance being division area number 3 and the lowest tolerance being division area number 5. And as you see here, it's pretty much mirroring almost all of the prior maps, with the exception of division area number 2, has the majority of the southern border. Division area 5 happens to go a little bit more into the Glen Avon area, and division area 4 goes slightly south of the 60 freeway. Again, as mentioned earlier, we achieve a Hispanic Latino majority across all 5 division areas, as well with having a CVAP data of Hispanic Latino majority as well. Scenario 3 is the balancing of all populations within each division area, and we bring the variance as low as possible. This one brings us down from 57.8% down to 1%, while still respecting incumbency as well as preserving the highest percentage of the Hispanic Latino population within each division area. As in similar maps that we have previously seen, the southwestern region of the district is its own division area. Another division area creeps down from the northwest down to the south, and the division area number 4 goes a little bit further south of Mission Road, while the other 2 division areas boundaries are still slightly the same. As mentioned earlier, we happen to still achieve the Hispanic Latino majority across all 5 division areas. But when comparing it with the CVAP data, we have a Hispanic Latino majority across 4 with a Hispanic Latino plurality in division area 1. Scenario 4A is another new scenario that we have came up with. This one balances out all the populations within the trustee area, and it reduces the variance to below 10%. This one also respects incumbency that also brings us down to from 57.8% down to 6.6%, with the highest being division area number 3 and the lowest being division area number 2. When we take a look at the map, we see that Eastvale is its own general area, with the Miraloma encompassing its own island. The Sunny Slope, Europa Hills, and North Glen Avon region is within its own division area. The Ruby Doe area is in its own region, as well with the southern part of the district. As mentioned earlier, we happen to have a Hispanic Latino majority across all 5 division areas with a variance of 6.6%. And all but division area number 3 have a Hispanic majority of the CVAP data, while division area number 3 happens to have the Latino Hispanic within the plurality of the division area. So just bringing these maps forward for a side-by-side comparison, so everyone would happen to get the 30,000-foot overview of all 5 maps, detailing the scenarios, the conceptual map, and the variance of all the maps. So there is these 5 maps. Again, the lowest variance being at 1% with scenario 3, and the highest variance being scenario 2A at 8.8%. So we're in the second map meeting regarding this. And again, in a perfect world, this would be the exact timeline for which we would be following this process. However, we do still have until April to still go forward with this process, depending on any other input from the board, as well with the general members of the public. So after the maps have been approved by the board, we should be going to send these maps to the county register of voters. So do I have any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, I don't remember what map number you said, but is the last one that you had up?
4A?
Yes. That takes me completely out of my division. If you look at where the stars or my house is, I am no longer in my division. So it does not respect incumbency on that map.
Which are you, this?
I'm Division 5.
Okay, right where my mouse is at?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that star where my home is, on that street is no longer in my division. So I don't know why you decided to pull that corner out. It's been in every other map. But all of
I
a
can
sudden
check
this-
with our map. I can check with our map person about that, and I do apologize. I did, when I reviewed this, it did look like it was within the division area number 5. My apologies.
As best as I can tell, I mean, I've blown up as big as I can. That square's kind of partly over it, but it looks like you have removed me from my division, so.
You certainly are on the edge of your. Jose, any questions?
So for map 4A, would it make a big difference to just have that line keeping Eastville together go up Wineville?
Go up Wineville.
Straight up to the 60 freeway.
Yeah.
I mean, eliminate a huge chunk of population of it. I guess,
No,
you know,
east
not
of,
understanding.
west of Wineville, there's nothing.
Oh, this street over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. So right now, what that's doing, why that map there, Chris? I think Mr. Godinez's question is just having it go straight up. That's actually splitting up a community right there, a newer community within the district. I think he's saying just take that up Wineville instead of jagging over.
Yes.
Well,
I'm sorry, I was looking at 2A.
2A,
I
okay.
apologize.
do it.
It just shows
That
dots
makes
on
more
the,
sense. Okay.
on our agenda.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's just dots that there's no writing.
Oh, yeah, those dots are an issue that we're having with our GIS program, and we've already informed Esri about that.
Did you have any other questions?
No, that's it.
So on that one, Jose, your thing is
Just,
taking it up at Belgrave and Wineville, heading it straight north?
yeah,
Mr. Castellan, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to also have that same question and check with Chris if how significant is the population if we do draw that line up through Wineville? Would it significantly change the population?
We can run the scenario and get back to the board regarding that.
Okay.
I don't think there's anybody living right in that area.
Not very many.
It would be very, very few, but there is. And that's one of the questions I can clarify for the board, and Chris kind of touched on it back on the heat map there. Chris, if you could slide back to that slide.
All right, don't get dizzy. There we go.
Yeah, so my question here in the upper northwest corner, there's this orange spot, Chris, right there. That's fairly dark. It's like about a 60% Hispanic population.
Oh, this one right over here? Yes.
Yeah, but Chris explained to me there could be 4 residents in that area and 3 of them being Hispanic. That's why it's so dark. It's not that there's hundreds of people. It's just a percentage. So I was confused with that early on. So I just want to make sure the board understood that. That doesn't represent the darker it is, doesn't mean there's more people. It's the number of people within that district. So if that example, if there was 4 residents living there, correct, Chris, and 3 of them were Hispanic, it would be that darker orange, correct?
That is correct. And again, let's take a look over here, right near the Sunny Slope region. There could be 1 person living here, and that 1 person could be the 100%.
Excuse me.
Plus,
Bless you.
Thank you.
Mr. Castellan, did you have any other questions?
Yeah, I guess just a comment because I think I still like scenario 2, but with that modification if possible.
Okay.
To
And just to clarify for scenario 2, but you wanted going up Wineville?
Everything we've seen.
either Wineville or the 15, but if other members want to include it in Wineville, I'm not opposed to it. But I think as long as
Just to clarify, since you are remote, your intention is to keep Eastville together.
correct.
and
Ms. Byrne, did you have any questions?
I'm pretty satisfied for myself as to what I see. I see that I'll lose Larimore and Wineville on 4A, but I would favor for myself 4A.
For me, if the purpose of these 2 maps was to make me like the other 3 better, it did, very much so, made me like the other 3 better. And no disrespect to Ms. Byrne, but I consider 4A to be an absolute no-go because it's just crazy. It just went from something fairly simple and straightforward to something fairly crazy. I don't love 2A because, again, I think that it does some things that break up communities, and particularly in my district. And so what was 2 is what we go back to 2. Is that what, Mr. Castellan, is that what you said you liked?
Yes, that's my preferred
Yeah,
scenario.
well, it's 2, if we went up Wineville, and so all of Eastville was in 3. Looks good to me.
Yeah, two out of all 5, 2 would also be my preference.
you had mentioned in a previous meeting that line that goes through that.
And I would love
Yeah.
that to be fixed, but I asked that to be fixed, and instead of it being fixed, it went all the heck in a handbasket. So if that's what I have to do, because like, I think it seems to make no sense to take my district past Van Buren, because I think it's just really breaking up things. And yeah, I don't know. The other concern that I had about the other two maps, the 4A and the 2A, is that we know a lot of growth is going to be coming in on the west side of town. But yet that was the district that had the highest population in those two scenarios. So it's like you're already going to be putting them at a high population and then you're going to be inserting more population into it. So it's going to be creating a dichotomy that we will be carrying forward for 10 years. That was the other thing that concerned me about 2A and 4A. Whereas these twos, I don't have them in front of me, so I don't have the numbers. Well, the numbers were a little bit better. But
See, for me, 2 seems to keep the Rubidoux area both north and south
Bless you.
Thank you.
of Mission more intact. It just kind of keeps the Rubidoux area together.
right.
So more than any of the other maps.
Any other?
No, if we had to go off the 5 maps we have to look at, I would definitely throw out the 2 new ones and go with number 2 with the change you're talking about, keeping Eastvale all in one.
Going up Wineville. I
Yeah.
prefer to go up Wineville than the freeway. If there's no people in that area, then it does not matter if we go up Wineville, if we go up 15.
Which is the way I feel about when they stretch 5 up to Level Monson, there's nothing up there.
Right.
So it,
But going forward, we will be presenting all 5 to the community, is that what I understand? We're making some choices now, but we still have an additional step to take, is that correct? We will be just present. all-
This is the second public hearing. We originally planned to have 2, but due to the board's request to see some revisions, we plan on having 3 now. This is the second one. So if you agreed on a map tonight, I believe Chris would have that prepared as well as the necessary staff report for your next public hearing. And then you would adopt it at that meeting with a resolution.
That is correct.
So this is the presentation to the,
Yeah,
tell me if I'm wrong, this is the presentation to the public of all 5 maps. tonight.
correct.
Correct. Yes.
And then
Was-
I have a question for you, board member or division member Edgar Castellan.
Yes,
On Wineville, you're talking about having it go west of Wineville, correct?
yes, west of
Okay.
Wayne.
Okay, west of Wineville. Perfect. Thank you.
A question to Colby. So this was a public hearing, right?
Correct, this is a public hearing.
Yeah. Was the Zoom made available in the agenda for the public to access?
No, but it is streaming on our website.
Okay. And how would the public be able to make comment?
They can submit emails.
Okay.
And did we receive
And we
anything?
have not
They
received-
can watch tonight too and submit
Yes.
comments as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they can submit comments on the live stream?
no, not on the live stream,
How do they submit comments? then?
via email.
Oh, okay.
So not like last week where we had a member make a
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah,
Got it.
so we all fairly much in agreement though on map
Yeah.
2 is
Can we,
preference.
yeah, do you mind putting up the one that I scribbled on last time?
yes, Chris, I'm gonna take,
I want to be reminded of what I was thinking.
okay, so let's go to this one, Ms. Johnson.
Right. So Chris, tell me why this doesn't work.
I believe when we tried incorporating all of the input from the board into one map, it threw a lot of the variance off by, I believe, 80% or so, a little higher than 80%, while incorporating some other areas of, again, not only with your map, but we also incorporated other comments from when I discussed it with my map maker. because I believe there was like 2 or 3 other maps that were provided to me from other members of the board. So when we tried making hybrid, yes, when we tried doing like some hybridization of the maps, it just was throwing off the variants.
Was it breaking up any census blocks?
It was not breaking up any census blocks.
Okay.
And, okay, so that's Jose's, that's Edgar's, number 2, and mine and Ross's.
That was, yeah, I just put in 5 there, so, yeah.
What do you all?
If I could make a comment, I don't want to put any words in anybody's mouth, so please stop me. But if we take Ms. Johnson's map that she had submitted, from what I'm hearing from the different board members, this area is a concern right here because it's broken up by the ridge line.
Yes.
Where it ends and starts down here south of Limonite
Doesn't matter.
is not a huge area of concern.
No.
Not crossing over Division 1 into Van Buren because of a major border, but between where, up in this area, where it starts and stops between 1, 2, and 4,
Not as much of a
concern. I don't want to put words, please stop me. And the major thing is wanting to see either west of Wineville or west of the 15 freeway, but keeping Eastville together.
Right.
I haven't heard any major concerns between 2 and 3 south of Limonite from either any of the board members. And using Etowanda as the natural break between those two for the most part.
Right, and then the area there where I made it so that that green area and that blue area came into my division, I was just trying to make up for the fact that I lost that part of there.
Almost
It wasn't
as a
that
swap.
Yeah, it isn't that I have to have those areas or concerned about having those areas. So I don't want anyone to think that
Right.
that I was trying to grab something that didn't matter to me. I was just like trying to make it generic change to try to add where I subtracted in that. So like if that little green area came to me, but that blue area stayed with Division 4, well, I wouldn't care. What do you all think of this one compared to, say, 2?
This is basically, well, yeah, this is, I believe this is not scenario 3 you drew on.
This is scenario 3 that I drew.
Yeah, this is scenario 3.
Jose?
It's really similar to 2, so which is.
Yeah, I can pull up 2 here for you guys. I've got it open still, so.
Yeah, it's just however you would manage your area or however they would manage the population in your area. I think that's because.
Right.
This was the original 2.
Right.
Which
So
is what
really-
you said about yours, yeah.
So really, in an ideal world, in an absolutely ideal world, if you took 2, you ran Division 3 up Mineville, so that all of Eastville would be in that division. And if we could ideally fix that little ridge line problem over between Division 1 and Division 5, it would literally be perfect.
Yeah,
Now, there's a couple different potential scenarios, correct, Chris, where it could be like, I hate to use the word swap, but this area becomes the purple, this becomes yellow, it might even stuff out. There might have to be some more blue that came down to that probably would be a good idea. Yeah, there's some give and take that are gonna have to happen, right?
Yes, and again, we're probably going to have on my end, my team are probably going to have to do some manipulation just to see if we can achieve a conceptual scenario 3A based off of Madam President's map scenario, as well with, can you go back to the other comments, Colby?
I'm not Madam President, by the way.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. I was listening to
Madam
voices.
Vice President.
Vice
that's all.
President this
Madam
evening.
Vice President. Sorry, I
Um,
was listening to voices.
Again, we're not necessarily saying this is the map.
No,
What
no,
we're saying is if you took number 2 and
Yes,
you ran 3 up Wineville and you fixed the little ridge line problem between 1 and 5, life would be golden. If I understand correctly, would it
You could
be?
also move that line right there,
Which
What
line?
line?
the one at the top, or between 2 and 4.
This one?
Yeah, there's a community, right? If you move it west,
To about here?
yeah.
Yeah.
So the blue.
This would be the creek.
Yeah, so the blue can still be within there, or,
Yeah. The only homes up in this area are gonna be right in here, which is called the Miraloma Village. Etowanda, just north of the 60 freeway.
yeah, so I mean, I'd be okay with that moving and taking over that area as well.
Also, if you needed to give Division 1, because of the ridge line thing, a little more, you could take it from the southwest corner of 5.
More down in this
Yeah,
area.
more down that way if you need to add, rather than take it, from up north, take it from the southwest there.
Well,
If you
that's
need to fill in.
what I was trying to kind of do a little bit, because there is a purple area right in there. So I was trying to like swap that yellow area up back to you and then that purple area back to me.
Right.
Is
I
that
know it's
the-
not gonna be equal, but I was just
Is that
trying.
the mobile home park?
Right, because that area is
It's the
really,
mobile home park and what's below it.
Yeah.
that area down there is really, Hoop Hills, not Hoop Hills.
Well, whatever you wanna call it.
But yeah, it's, that's not really Rubidoux right there anyway, so. That southwest corner,
Right,
because that's down where Hoop Hills Golf Course and all that stuff is, so. Technically, that's not Rubidoux, I think. So that little bit you take from the ridge line for Division 1, give that back to 5, I said the southwest corner is the place to give it back for your numbers.
right. So what do you think, Chris?
again, we can run the scenarios of the west of the Wineville, the Ridge Line, potentially the Europa Hills Golf Course, and play around with it just to see what we can achieve. And then I can get those maps back, or the new conceptual scenarios back out to Colby for your review.
And Chris, just one question for you, and Bob, if you could chime in as well. We're not necessarily under a massive time crunch, so we do have to April. We don't have to have this at the next board meeting, correct? We can push this back to our second meeting in March to give you a couple extra weeks, Chris, so we're, otherwise I need maps from you by next Friday again.
I
That'll give you
believe,
a little breathing room. I think I see a nod that would be helpful.
I believe you have until April 17th. actually.
Yes, you do have until April 17th. And the little bit of breathing room would definitely definitely not allow a scenario 4A to happen.
Yeah, because one of the things that Chris and his team tried to do was incorporate one of the requests from the board members was the parks in there. And I didn't realize that they didn't have all the parks listed.
No,
So that's something that I know that they would like to at least be able to provide some sort of an overlay at least, Chris, correct?
Yes, we have been trying to achieve the overlay for the parks, considering that there are over 30 park sites within the district. We're just trying to, again, manipulate that just to make it look visually appealing.
this one keeps being up on the board, but I just want to emphasize, I am not saying this is what we have to do at all. I'm saying what Mr. DeGuid said, which is fix the Eastvale problem, fix the Ridge problem, and move on with our lives.
Yes.
Agreed.
I think this one satisfies Ms. Burns' request of keeping Sky Country within her division.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Well, and yeah, Sky Country should be kept together if possible.
Mr. Castellan, we don't want to leave you out.
Yeah, if there's a way to fix those two problems, I think that would be ideal. I mean, I personally, I'm not married to the idea, but I do like that chunk of Glen Avon being in my district. But
You're
if
talking about this area,
yeah,
okay,
but if we're able to swap, I guess, some of that population to make that Ross's district, I guess you would say, whole, I guess I would be fine with that.
And I don't have any problem with that staying in Mr. Castellan's district. If it's possible to, finagle it otherwise. But I do think my district should not go past Van Buren. I just think that starts getting a little crazy.
Or mine.
Or yours go the other way. Yeah.
yeah. One thing I can share is I've ran some numbers with the parks based on somewhat of this type of scenario off of actually map number 2. It does a much better job of spreading the wealth per se. If you take into consideration the 3 parks under construction in the Sunny Slope area as part of the Shadow Rock development, and then the 1, potentially 2 parks as in Paradise Knolls, it gets everybody. There's still a concentration in Division 3 because of the small parks within Harvest Villages and then the 4 within Eastvale, but it gets everybody closer to 7, 8 area than, right now, Mr. Godinez is at 1, so.
Would you mind putting scenario 2 back up?
Yeah.
Well, for the longest time, you didn't even have 1.
Oh, he's always had Knolls.
Vision. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had 2 now, I correct me, I'm sorry, you doubled.
Horseshoe Lake.
You doubled this year.
Advise you to get at least one more, right, when they develop the district at Europa.
At least 1 more.
At least
Yeah,
one,
and
which
granted,
will
that's just a little bit down the road, but at
As
least,
long as you keep it going to the 60,
yes.
otherwise I'll never get another park.
Yeah, but you have a couple parks within that area as well currently, so
Right.
it's much more closer in
Balance.
than what it is now.
And that would be nice. But yeah, I mean, if I had twist my arm, make a decision, I would pick 2 if we could take Division 3 going up Lineville. I would pick 2 right now.
Okay.
Probably. I mean, I just feel like it, Division 2 doesn't go east of Van Buren. Division 1 doesn't go west of Van Buren. Sky Country is whole in Ms. Burns' division. Mr. Lage's division goes up to the 60 freeway, which I know he was hoping would happen. And Mr. Castellan gets that blue bit that's going down into Glen Avon.
Well, it sounds like you all are fairly close, except we need to produce another map or 2 and analyze what you're suggesting. The question I have is, do you want to schedule another meeting where you discuss it before you have the final consideration of your resolution to approve it? Or do you think you can do that the next time it is brought to you?
Yeah, I'm hopeful we can do that next time.
Seeing the map.
So Bob, correct me. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, and Chris, chime in, please. We could have another public hearing in a month to give a little extra time to work on these maps.
Yes.
And we could attach that night a resolution.
Yes.
Yes.
And if there's still, we don't have to adopt it that night, we could continue it another meeting.
That's true.
Yes. It's cutting it close, but yes.
Yeah. If you wait a month, you're in late March, and so you'll have, you'll still have 1 meeting.
Yes.
We would meet the
Before the
14th, and
deadline.
it's due the,
No, you would be meeting the 7.
yeah, no, we're talking about meeting March 24th.
Yep.
And then we would meet. Reality, if we had to, we could do a special meeting, correct, Bob?
Yes, you could. You've already conducted the 2 public hearings that are required by the statute. So my only concern is going to be if you change it after this, I'm going to recommend another public hearing where members of the public have the ability to discuss changes you've made.
So still on March 24th would be a public hearing, correct?
Yes. Yes. There's no reason not to make them all public hearings whenever you discuss it. That's what I'm trying to say.
So we all in agreement with that? That sound good?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Castellan, you're good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good then.
And Chris, if you need to set up a meeting and just to clarify stuff, myself, Loretta would be available to help relay information based on the minutes and the recordings.
All right, perfect. I will definitely take quite a lot of advantage over that.
No problem.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions or I'm good to go?
I think we're good.
All right, have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, next we go into item 6.1, general manager's report.
Oh, what to do. This past weekend, our local AYSO region, I think it's 462, in association with the region AYSO hosted the locomotion tournament at Rancho Miraloma Sports Park. That's a historic tournament that's taken place in Riverside at A.B. Brown Park for a couple decades at least. And as you're aware, A.B. Brown Park did close about 18 months ago to allow for development of some new homes. And they worked to bring it to Europa Valley here. And it was a huge success. I was out there all weekend. We had, I believe it was 110 teams registered. So that's going to put us north of 1,200 participants in the tournament over the 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Raging success. We had nothing but positive comments from spectators, participants. I do believe one of the local AYSO teams from Europa Valley actually won, I think it's the 14-year-old boys division, actually won it for the entire tournament, which was great to see. And again, just great compliments on the facility. Our staff was wonderful out there. Anthony and his crew out at the sports park did a phenomenal job. Our guys worked hard. They did nothing but pick up trash for 12 hours straight each day. Learned a lot of things to make it better in the future. And we do anticipate more tournaments coming forward. So that was very positive for us. On the district side, we're expecting revenues from the tournament in somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $7,000 once everything's said and done. And that was all stuff Anthony was able to negotiate with the league putting on the tournament based on parking and revenue sharing for concessions. So that was phenomenal. I'm very proud of that. Youth basketball is doing well. A couple more weeks left in there. They finished the end of March for the season. We have not heard yet if there's going to be any of the end of season tournaments that we participated in the past through SMAF, the Southern California Municipal Athletic Federation. At this point, I don't think anything's going to happen just because of the pandemic and everybody coming out of it. Everybody's league is just really out of whack because of delays and stuff. We are working on a recreation brochure right now. We will have that out to print hopefully in the next couple of weeks here. This will be something we haven't done in, well, we mailed our last brochure March 12th, 2020.
Yeah.
And we all know what happened March 13th. So we really think it's going to help boost our attendance in our recreation programs. Recreation programs are doing well. But as I explained to the budget committee last week, we're hitting our minimums right now. If a recreation class needs to have 8 kids to cover our costs, we're hitting maybe 9, 10, as to where we might have been hitting 15, 16, 17 in the past. Our Talk Time program, which was at 40 kids with 10, 12, 15 on the wait list, is at 20, 24. So we're just we're covering our costs, we're doing what we need to do, but we're just not getting those greater numbers that really help our budget in that aspect. Shadow Rock Park, as you know, is under construction. The last of the undergrounding, the storm drain is being finalized. There was some delay on some parts there. Some of the piping was delayed, so that should be finished up here, and a lot of the flat work, cement work is starting to go in. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get any good aerial footage because of these darn winds we've had the last couple of weeks have just really grounded the drone out there. So hopefully at our next meeting, we'll have a much better update for you with some pictures to really see the shape of the park coming to fruition here. So that's still scheduled for completion mid-July of 2022, I'm sorry. And then we'll go into the 90-day maintenance period. Lennar has at this point opted to keep the park closed to the public for maintenance reasons. They'd be responsible for any vandalism that would happen to the park should they open it up, which is understandable. It's a very common practice for our developers to do so. Other than that, I just want to again publicly thank Ms. Vogus here as she talked to the board members here. We've been transitioning to a new payroll management and employee management system, and you guys got some paperwork here. I think she gave you some homework to do for it. She has been on Zoom 1, 2, sometimes 3 a day. Working with staff, making sure that this is a seamless transition as possible. So thank her for that. And at the same time, we've also been doing our RFP for banking services. And I believe at our next board meeting here, we'll be bringing forward an item for the board for consideration, which is another huge undertaking. So she's gonna be taking a vacation, I have a feeling, pretty soon when we're done with this, but I just want to thank her for all that hard work. And then I just staff in general has just, the last 2 years has just been phenomenal in what they're doing. They're been creative since day one. They continue to push the limits and come up with new ideas, how to keep things working forward. So again, I cannot be more than happy with the staff and their performance these last couple of years here. So with that, I will conclude my report unless anybody has any questions for me.
Board comments? I don't have any comments tonight. Mr. Godinez?
Yeah, just wanted to announce that Huerta del Valle has a pop-up this Saturday from 11 to 3 p.m.
At Glen Avon Heritage Park.
At Glen Avon Heritage Park, correct? I had to pull it up. Yeah, and other than that, looking forward to all the cool events we talked about at our meeting. Really excited, and I'll try to be out at parks more often as well. Trying to make that a personal goal.
When you say a pop-up, you mean, are they selling veggies or what are they doing?
It's a market. It's
Okay.
a little market. Yeah, they're selling veggies and fruits as well.
Okay, cool.
This will be the second one that they have done.
And that's this Saturday.
Yes.
The first one was somewhat blown out, unfortunately, too.
Oh, gosh, yeah, when it blows for 9 days.
Yeah.
Ms. Bird?
No comments at this time. Thank you so much. It's been very enlightening just to hear all of what we're doing. So no further comment than that.
Mr. Leach?
Other than to, as always, thank staff for the great job they always do. I have no other comments.
Okay, Mr. Castleman?
I don't have much either. Just want to thank the board for a lively discussion, and also thank the staff for all you do with making sure that everything runs well. Yeah, I think you're a source of pride for the district. So, and that's it.
Thank you. Do we have any committee reports attached?
We have 3 committee reports that are attached. There's a budget personnel. I don't know if anybody from the budget committee wants to touch on things, but we really, we're looking at some mid-year stuff. And then kind of set a calendar for the start of our 2022-23 budget cycle to get that going. If anybody wants to touch anything major with that?
I know I'd like to say this as part of the budget committee. It has prompted me to think of my past, my future in terms of what I can contribute in terms of my experience. I thank Colby for being open to that. And again, Jose and I have not had a chance to talk, but we were talking during our meeting, and again, just a lot of things to present to the board once we are prepared. We're working at it.
That's primary in regards, I believe, to our current hiring challenges that we're facing, not just locally, but, industry wide. So we're looking, we've got some creative ideas that will be coming forward, I think. And then we're also at the Recreation Special Events and Facilities Committee met. I think Mr. Godinez somewhat touched based on that, if you wanted to add anything additional.
No, just excited for the name you guys picked for the truck event.
Please share it.
They picked Meet the Machine.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
By the way, the minutes for special events says Stephen Anderson, Kim Johnson. And
Yeah, I've reached out to our service provider why that is still not auto-populating, so we will, I realized that after they were published.
Okay, just curious.
Mr. Gaston, did you want to chime in at all?
Yeah, just same as well. I really like that name, and really excited for some of the events that the district has planned. Some of the ones that have been continuing, and some of the new ones. So excited for those to be executed this year.
And then we also had a presentation from UCR on a grant that they're working with and some potential partnerships. That'll be an item potentially come to the board over the next couple of months. They have a lot of blade work within the college that they have to still iron out. And we'll go from there.
Cool.
And then park planning met, and we discussed Paradise Knolls. If Mr. Laser, Ms. Johnson wanted to add anything.
Yeah, we suggested some good changes, I think, to the linear park. Placement of certain items like gazebos and things like that. I was going to mention that Ron Anderson was not actually present, but you said you're going to take care of that.
Yeah, we're taking care of that, so.
And we received the update on the Shadow Rock construction, which you just heard, so I won't need to reiterate that.
Right.
Anything you wanted to say, or?
Just that the landscape architect and Mr. Kozak were great to work with, and we were cooperative with them and they were cooperative with us, and it worked very well. So.
And I have had discussions with the city planning department in regards to some of the concerns that were brought up in regards to the stairs and stuff, and they completely agree, access ramps instead of stairs. And so they'll be working to amend some of their requirements to make everything work better.
Okay.
So productive.
Yeah, they had stairs going up the end zone streets into the park, but big staircases, and we're like, oh, that doesn't look like a good situation with skateboards.
Yeah. Can I ask a question regarding that meeting? Does the developer have any plans on replacing some of the trees they took down along Lemon?
That's not part of our purview. It was something that came up. They are being replaced. What reason it is, but part of their agreement does require them to anything that was removed because it was dead or had to be moved because of improvements, has to be replaced with a new tree, but it's not just a regular, 24-inch box you would buy in a typical park. It's something more substantial. What exactly that is, I don't know. But that was one of the point of discussions within the park itself. There are a lot of those trees that are eucalyptus. Some of them are poorly maintained. Some of them are at their life expectancy and they become fire hazards and stuff. If anything has to be removed, it will be replaced with something substantial. I believe the architect said that something like 400 trees
400
proposed
trees in that linear park.
in that linear park being installed.
It's going to be massive trees.
Yeah.
Lots of shade.
Yeah.
The only other thing we discussed with them that we're hoping it's changed is the name of the street the park is on. Because right now they're suggesting Rancho Europa. And we already have parks with those names. So
Unfortunately, it sounds like they've already been approved.
Yeah.
so we're going to have to figure out and come up with
Different name for the park.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to name that park after the street.
after the street. Yeah.
So they were very open to the ideas and once we compare with grading plans, there's some comments we'll be making when the builder submits housing plans. One of the concerns that has come up is the park sits about 12 feet higher than the homes that will be to the south of it, and puts eyesight right into a second story bedroom potentially. So we will be making recommendations on, it's about 8 or 10 units to limit the number of windows on that side of the house. So.
There are a few things that will have to be addressed,
But it was a very productive meeting.
Is a natural barrier possible?
Trees will, when they grow, contribute to that, but
They gotta grow.
they've got to grow and it could take, a number of years. So
Thank you.
that'll be an item that comes before the full board for final approval before the developer is allowed to begin construction.
Okay. Do we have any future committee meetings that need to happen?
We have a committee meeting now scheduled for budget personnel. We'll be scheduling another Veterans Memorial Wall, as well as once we get information back from the designer on the Paradise Knolls Park, we'll be scheduling but those dates aren't set yet.
Okay. Does anyone have any agenda items for future board meetings? Okay, seeing none, please note we have a couple of upcoming meetings. Our next meeting will be on March 10th, and then the one after that on March 24th. And at that, what time is it? 7:40. We will adjourn this meeting at 7:40.
And I want to thank you very much for your assistance. That was just really super. Thank you.
No problem, and thank you for,
Everybody have a good evening.
thank you for doing the official bump.
Got it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Rebecca, I hope you
Good night.
feel well.
Thank you.
Loretta, since this is online,
Rebecca, did you want some orange